Yes, Professor, the students have joined.
Great. So are you letting me in or I'm already in?
Sir, already in.
All right, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Hey, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I can see a lot of messages. Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing well. Good, good, good. So, yeah, so we all know why are we here? We are here to learn Python today, right? So before I start, I would like to know how many of you are from programming background or know a little bit of programming. Yes. You can raise your hand in the, I think you have the option, right? Yeah, it will help me understand how many of you are from coding and non-coding background. So if you can just raise your hand, people who know programming, raise their hand. If you don't, people who are from coding background, just raise your hands. People not from coding background may remain as is. So let me take a look. Oh, just three, four. Anshul, Abhijit, Sanyam, and Sambit. All right. So we have around 23 attendees today, and out of these, only 4 or 3 are from coding background. Let's read some chat here. Ansh Akhtar is saying noob. Okay, he's a noob. Hari is saying non-coding background. Priyank Bhatt is saying I'm a mechanical engineer, non-coding. Cool. No issues. No issues. No issues. No issues at all. So we have got 3 sessions. Today is the first session, and I think we have the next session on 6th, I believe, and then the next week, right? Next week. I think. Puneet Sharma is saying left coding 10 years back. Oh my God, 10 years. That's a long time. Okay. Okay. So let me introduce myself. My name is Prasad Walse. I have more than 7 years of experience in the field of analytics. Currently, I'm working as a data scientist at Sybase Softwares, and I've been into teaching for the last 3-4 years now. I've been teaching at NMIMS for the last 1 year, and I mostly teach Python for NMIMS. I also teach subjects like machine learning. Then you have the data science with Python, but not here, somewhere else. Anas is saying such a relief to hear no issues. Okay, all right, good. Okay, people can stop raising their hands now. I mean, I can get a clear picture here. Around 80% of the students are not from coding background, right? That's fine. That's fine. But I just want to understand. You all have access to the upgrade portal, right? All right, cool. So I can see a lot of you are saying yes. Great. And how many of you have been through the introduction of Python videos that you have access? Only Priyank. Sukanto is saying watched some videos. Ritika Sodi is saying I. Okay. Ansh is saying not yet. Anshul is saying not me. Priyank saying why Python limitation of Excel. Okay, there is a video, right? Prep course completed. Nice. No, I think let me just open the portal. I think let me just share my screen and just 1 second. So to clear the confusion, I think this is the model that I'm talking about. Introduction to Python, not the prep course. Sukanto is saying completed this. All right. So you have idea about data structures and control structures, right? Now I can see a lot of you are saying yes. I just wanted to know how many of you haven't been through it. Okay, so what I usually do is in the first session, I teach the basics, and in the next session onwards, I'll take a case study. Okay, so don't expect case study in the first session because a lot of you are not from the coding background, and then if I start the case study directly, you feel lost. Okay, that has been my experience with a lot of newcomers. So if you can raise your hand, how many of you have not been through any of these videos? Any of these? Just raise your hand and let me take a look at how many of these students. Okay, more than 50% of the students have not been through these videos. Okay. Anshi saying we had a test yesterday and today for management. Okay. Pritika is saying, sir, please brief about the project. I'll definitely brief you about the project. Don't worry. But the thing is, if I brief you about the project straight away, I'm afraid that you won't be able to understand a thing, right? So if I just go through the basics, teach you the basics first, right? And then maybe in this next session, I'll tell you what to expect in the project. Okay, I'll take the project, I'll take a case study in the session itself, which will be in similar lines with what you'll be having. Okay, Kritika, is that fine with you? Shalini is saying next week we have TEE, so could you please explain about the... See, that's what I'm telling you. I'll definitely explain you about the project, but not today. I mean, I'll give you an, I mean, if you want, I can tell you what project you will have, on what lines the project would be. But if I give you the details, I'm afraid that you will be able to understand a bit about it. Okay. Sounds good. All right. See, again, I mean, I can see your comments here. I can see your chat here. There are a lot of students who are not from coding background. You need to understand this from their perspective as well. There are people not from the coding background, right? More than 80%, like I said, they're not from the coding background. And on top of that, you haven't been through these videos as well, right? Okay. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, let me again share my screen and tell you what we'll be studying. Okay. Just to give you the idea of what to expect, what not to expect. Okay. Let me just share another. Hey guys, if you don't mind, can I stop sharing my screen? The thing is, I usually write on my screen, so I don't think I'll be able to write it like this. Okay. All right. So let me just adjust my camera. We have got 3 sessions. I hope I'm audible. We have got 3 sessions. Session 1. And session 3. Okay. Now, in today's session, this is basics of basics. In today's session, we'll go through some of the basics. When I say basics, we'll understand what programming is, right? We'll make the people from non-coding background comfortable with what coding is, what is programming, and okay, I can see a lot of questions. Am I audible now? Am I audible? No? Okay, it is not breaking now. Cool. Yeah, so let me just repeat. So we have 3 sessions. We have got 3 sessions for basics of Python. And let me tell you that 3 sessions are not enough to teach you Python completely. People take years. Okay, let me just move to some other location then. Give me 1 second. How is it now? Is it okay? The voice, you know? Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me just show you. Let me do a speed test for you so that. Okay. Okay, I can see connectivity is stable, right? All right. Yeah, so the connectivity is stable. Maybe there's some problem with the mic, I guess. Okay. So I hope the whiteboard is clear. So basics in the session, in the first session, we'll cover basics of Python. When I say basics of Python, we will just touch upon topics like data types, right? Data types, then functions. Not functions, we'll see functions maybe in the next session, but before functions, there's one important topic that I would like to take, which is control structures. And okay, give me 1 second again. Let me try another mic. Okay, let me try another mic. Am I audible? Yeah, so I have just replaced my mic. Okay, let me know. So under control structures, we will see loops. Yes, and conditional statements. This is what I intend to cover today. Conditional statements. Okay, this is what I intend to cover. Now, if you go through the videos that I have asked you to go through, okay, in the prep course, you have got three videos. The first video would be something related to installing Anaconda, right?
Then there are two videos. If you don't go through the first video, it's perfectly fine. The next two videos are most important, which is the control structure one. Let me just go to the platform. Yeah, so data structures in Python and control structures in Python. So these are the two videos that I want you to go through. Okay. Now, if you go through these two videos before coming to the next session, I'll be able to take a case study. So what we'll do is we'll understand the case study from Python's point of view, and as and when if there is a concept which you haven't understood, maybe in the video or maybe in the sessions, we will understand it through that case study itself. Sounds good? Yes. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let's go. So let me stop sharing my screen. All right. In the meanwhile, can you all open Anaconda notebook, Python notebook? Yes, I hope you all have installed. You might have received a mail or instructions from the NMIMS team regarding this. No? Shalini is saying no. Harshit is saying no. Priyank is also saying no. Akshata is saying yes. Harshit is saying we all can open Google Colab. Yes, we can, but Jupyter Notebook is something which I usually recommend. Yes, Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so if you haven't installed Anaconda yet, go to Google, search Anaconda for PC or Mac, whatever operating system that you are using. See, I can see Rajat is saying we haven't received, but instructions to install is there in async content, right? Yeah. Okay, so just let me know if you are done with the installation. People who are done with the installation, let's all open the Jupyter notebook from Anaconda quickly. Just let me know when you're done. See, Ansh has shared the link in the chat. Yes, Anaconda Navigator. Quickly download and install it. Quickly download and install it. Anas is saying it's a Jupyter notebook page by default Explorer. How do I open it in Chrome? Yeah, copy paste the link in Chrome. Or what you can do is maybe your Explorer is the default browser. Okay, change it to Chrome. Make Chrome as your default browser. Okay, so let me share my screen and Rajat is saying which version of Jupyter notebook we're going to use. Anyone is fine. 6.4.5 is also fine. People not from coding background, what are your role right now? What is your role right now? Shalini is saying sales and marketing. Hiten is saying operations. Shanmuganathan is saying I'm from operations management. Akshata is saying operations. Ankush Kumar is faculty manager. Nice. Niladri Das is credit risk. Jishnu is saying mechanical design engineer. Pritika is analytics manager. Nice. So already into analytics. Pritika must be knowing, I mean, might have worked in a lot of data science projects. Might have delivered machine learning or data science solutions. Akshata is saying we have to sign in by using email ID. Not required. I don't think that is required. Now, when you install Anaconda, I want you to take a look at the screen, please. When you install Anaconda Navigator and when you open it, you will get a page something like this. Okay, this is what we are interested in. Okay, Jupyter Notebook. I want you all to click on launch. Okay, when you launch, it opens it in a browser. It opens, yeah. Now you will have a page which looks something like this. Yes, won't be similar, but I mean, it won't be the same, but it would be similar. Shalini is still on running packages. See, if I wait for everyone, it will take a lot of time, Shalini. And not just Shalini, people who are installing. And I am afraid that the complete session will go into, you know, just the installation part. Okay. So if you can just focus right now, maybe keep the installation in the background. Okay. I have a lot of time. Help us take more concepts today. Okay, now when you are on this page, I want you to click on new. If you can see this new button over here. Okay, now when you click on new, you will have, yes, anyone saying anything? Can see a chat here. Okay, no. Yeah, so there is a drop down which where you will have Python 3, then you have other text file, folder, and terminal, something like this. I want you to click on folder. Okay, now when you click on folder, a folder name, new folder or untitled folder gets created. Can you see this? Now, since I have untitled folders already created, I'm getting untitled folder 2 here. You will only get untitled folder. Okay. I want you to click on this checkbox. Yes, this checkbox. Can you see this checkbox? Yes, click on this checkbox, and when you scroll up, there is a button called rename. Okay, rename it to NMIMS basics of Python. Okay, rename this. Now let's see where is NMIMS. Yes. So it gets renamed and open this. Okay, you will have, I mean, when you open it, it's a empty folder, right? Now click on new again, and this time you say Python 3. Okay, Python 3. You won't have all this. You won't have all this. These are my environments that I've created for very different projects. Okay, so since this is my personal laptop, yeah. So yes, just click on Python 3. When you click on Python 3, it takes you, it opens a new notebook, Jupyter notebook. Just let me know if you are able to do this. Yeah, for people who have just installed, it might say something else, Python 3 IPY kernel, something like this. Yes. Let me know if you all have opened. I mean, you are at this step. Let's see. Okay, I can see a lot of you are done with this step. Okay, cool. Now click on Untitled and just give a name to this notebook. Let's say basics of Python hyphen session 1. Okay, you can rename it something like this. You might have Untitled here. Just click on it. Gaurang is asking if I can use Jupyter Labs online. If you are comfortable, you can. If you are comfortable with it, you can. Okay. So let's understand here how this works. So see this particular part, this particular box. Yes, let me just highlight it. This particular box is a cell. Okay, CELL. And this is where we are supposed to write our program, Python code. Okay. Now you can create, the beauty of using Jupyter Notebook, so as compared to other Python IDEs, is that when you write your code, see, let's say if I'm writing some code here, okay, some code here, what you can do is you can change the format of this cell to markdown, and you can write, let's say this is a Python code. Okay, when you run this becomes a comment, or this becomes a note for what code you are writing here. Okay, getting it? So for every output, for every code of Python that you write, it will have some kind of output, right? You will be able to explain what that code is doing, what that output means, right? You can write your interpretation there, so that when you share this Python notebook to someone else, maybe your manager or to the C-suite, you can, I mean, they'll be able to understand what is going on here, right? Instead of just sharing the code, if you can share this notebook where apart from code, you also have the explanation of the output, it becomes more sense to person who is not from non-coding, people who are from non-coding background. Ansh is asking, can you do it again? How did you add the comment? So yeah, so this is this is the starting, right? This is the starting. I mean, when you open the Jupyter notebook, this is the page. This is how the page looks like. All you need to do is just click on plus, this plus, this plus creates more cells. Okay. Right now, the format of each and every cell here is code. If you can see this, by default, the format of each of these cells is code. Okay. Now let's say if you are writing something here, this is Python comment or interpretation. Okay. Now here, if you see this or, this is, these are all Python keywords. Hence, it is getting highlighted in green. Okay. Now when you run this, when you click on run, this entire line of code is being treated as this entire line here, which we have written in plain simple English, is being treated as a Python code. Okay. Now, in order to not make it as a Python code, what you can do is you can simply convert it into a markdown, something called as markdown. Okay. And if you run it again, this becomes a part of the notebook, as if you have written a line here. Getting it, Ansh? Is that clear? All right. So yeah, so let us all begin. Yes. So before I get into Python, let's discuss what is programming, how programming works. Any idea? Anyone? Yes. Anyone? What do you think? What is programming? Let's make this session interactive. Okay. I don't want to go. I don't want to show you the PPTs and just run through all the slides. Okay. So help me to help you. Yeah. Kirtika is saying write some logical lines of code and execute it. Good, good. Hiten is saying commands to computer. Sukanto is saying telling the computer what to do. Priyank is saying to plan or something to happen at a particular time. Shan Muganathan is saying Shan Mugana, can I call you Shan? Set of predefined syntaxes put together to execute an operation. Yes. So yeah, so yeah, I can see a lot of you know what programming is. So programming is basically writing a set of code, right? Writing set of code or set of instructions for the computer or for the machine to perform, right? Set of instruction for a computer or for a machine to perform, right? Now, when I say programming is nothing but writing a set of instructions, right? In what language do you write set of instructions? Do you write it in English? Yes, we don't write the set of instruction in plain English. Yes. Ujjwal is saying programming for me would be being able to solve for complex issue with the help of machine. Right. Yes. So we give the commands or instructions to the computer. Right now, when we say that we are giving the commands or instructions to the computer, do we give the commands just like the way Iron Man gives to Jarvis? Yes. Are we that advanced yet? At least for now. No, right? So yes. So you have to provide the instructions to the computer in a way that the computer should understand, right? Yes, Sukanto, we are getting there. There's a lot of I mean, if you get into AI, there's something called GPT-3. I don't know if you have heard about it. Yeah, so there are things going into that direction. OpenAI, correct? Yeah, so correct. So in order to give instructions to the computer, we need to provide those instructions in some language, right? And definitely if we use English, it won't work. We should provide the instructions to the computer in a way that the computer should understand it. Right now, as we all know, that machine only understands the language of ones and zeros, right? Do you all agree? Yes, people who are not in background, at least you know this, right? Binary. Yes, digital. The only or machine only understands the language of ones and zeros, where one would mean yes and zero means no, or something like this is positive response and this is negative response, right? Or you can call it as true or false, right? Yes or no? Now you might say that, am I supposed to give instructions to computer in ones and zeros? Right? Now let's say you want to instruct the computer to open a folder. Okay, open a folder. It's an instruction, right? Yes or no? Now this open a folder will have a corresponding set of 10000100011, something like this. Yes. Open a folder ka computer representation would be something like this. Yes. Now let's say you want to say to a computer, save a file. Save a file. Okay. Now let's say in order to give this instruction, the corresponding representation of this particular instruction is something like, right? Now can you tell me which one of these is easy to remember or easy to provide instructions to the computer? This or this? Would you would you be able to remember this combination every time? Yes. Yes. Ansh, you want to say, raise your hand, I'll be able to unmute you. Okay. Yeah, so for which one of these, either of these, can you tell me which is easier to remember? Yes, this part, right? So that's the reason why programming languages was introduced. Okay, if you have you heard about Alan Turing? Yes. Now this was the guy, Alan Turing was the person who invented computers, right? Enigma. I mean, he started with Enigma. Now Enigma was a device which was used in the World War, I think World War II, right? Yeah, so this was used in the World War II, where this machine was used to uh, decrypt some military codes, right? Yeah, so this was completely based on ones and zeros. Now, and if you see the machine, the machine looked, I mean, the machine itself took a space of one complete room, right? And it completely worked on these ones and zeros. It completely worked on ones and zeros. Now, is that feasible? Is it feasible to remember or give instructions to the computer in ones and zeros? No, right? Now, this is the main reason why programming languages was introduced. Okay, let me just clear all this. This was the reason why programming languages came into the picture. Okay, so you have ones and zeros. This is called as machine level language. Okay, ones and zeros. This is machine level language. Then you have the programming languages. Now, can you name some of the programming languages you have heard of? C, C++, yes. Then Python, of course. Python is something which we are learning. Python, Java, yes, SQL, JavaScript, correct? There are lots of programming languages, right? According to the implementation or applications, these programming languages are used. Okay, you have R as well, right? R. Yes, there are lots of programming languages. These are some of the programming languages that we use. Now, Python is a language which was, I mean, younger at least compared to C, C++, and Java. And why are we learning Python? Someone asked, why are we learning Python, right? I don't remember who asked this question, but I saw that in the chat. Okay, so why are we learning Python? Why? Any idea? Yes, people from programming background should be able to. Let me share a white screen instead. Maybe that will give a better look. Yeah, Priyank is saying to take better decisions from data. Okay, fine. What else? That's one outlook. One of the tools to analyze data. Okay, nice. Rahul is saying easy to learn. Now that's easy to learn. Okay. Now what I want you to do is, see, I'll explain you why are we learning Python. Okay. Priyank is saying as per async content. No, that is fine and all. I mean, as per the async content, that's fine. Let me show you the real reason why are we learning Python. Okay. So let me just go back. So it's very easy to learn. Akash is saying machine learning. Yes. So people who are not from the coding background, this is for you. Maybe you won't understand when I say easy to learn, but to make you understand what other programming languages look like, I think that would be helpful, right? So hello world program in C. Okay. Let me just show you. Now this hello world is the first program everyone writes. Hello world is basically, when I say hello world program, it is just to display this message on the screen. That's it. In order to display this message on the screen in C language, if you look at the code, yes, if you look at the code, how many lines of code we can see here? Ujjwal, I'll explain you that part. Yeah. Okay, how many lines of code do we have here? I want you all to pay attention and just tell me how many lines of code do we have here. And also take a look at the complexity here. Hash include, yes, stdio.h, int main. Yes, I want, don't just count the lines. I also want you to read these lines as well. Okay, now I'll say hello world programming. Instead of C, I'll say instead of C, I want the same program in Python. Okay. Now, how many lines of code do you see here? How many lines of code do you see here? Yes. Yeah. So only one line, right? This is a comment. This is a comment that they have written. This program prints hello world. Now tell me which one of these two programming languages is easy to perform or easy to give instructions? Yes. Python, right? Here in Python, you're not supposed to write this part, hash include stdio.h, int main, then you will start a curly bracket, right? Then you will say print hello world and you will say return 0, right? So these Python languages like Python, languages like C, C++, Java, they are all verbose. Now, when I say verbose, what it means is that, let's say I want to give you an instruction. Let's say I'm on the 6th floor of a building. Okay. I'm giving you a very basic, simple example. Let's say I'm on the 6th floor of a building and you want to instruct a person to go to the ground floor. Yes. What is the easiest way to instruct? What instruction would you give him? Yes, Shan is saying go to floor 0. Okay. Go down, take a lift. Yes. See, that's what. When you say go down or when you say go to the ground floor, that's Python. Now, if I ask you to do the same, if I ask you to do the same instructions, let's say from the C language perspective or Java perspective, you'll have to give the instruction like this: get out of this flat or get out of this room, go to the lift, press the lift's button. If the lift is at the same floor, get into the lift. If not, wait for the lift to arrive. Yes, get into the lift. The lift will take you down to the or when you get into the lift, press the ground floor's button. The lift will take you down to the ground floor button. Now, which among these instructions, set of instructions, you find it easy to convey your message? The first one, right? Yes or no? When you say go to the ground floor, that's it. Which one of this is easy? The first one, right? So that's the difference between Python and other programming languages. Getting it? So people who are not from the coding background, this is the way how I explain it, because when I say Python is easy, for you, Python and C, C++, Java is same, right? How would you understand which one of it is easy, since you haven't understood or you haven't tried other languages, right? I hope it is clear to you all. Shan, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just that it's an analogy that I give. If I use these high level terms, people won't understand. Okay. So when I say verbose, this is what I mean, that you have to give each and every instructions for every set of action. Okay. So yeah, other programming languages verbose and Python is not. And on top of that, the added advantage is that see, you all will be business analysts, right? Business analyst, or you will be analyzing data in future, right? So Python provides you a lot of inbuilt libraries, inbuilt functions to perform set of tasks in one or two simple line of codes. Okay, some huge tasks in one or two simple line of codes. Getting it? So Python gives you more options or good options to manipulate your data, get good insights, and also you will also be able to perform visualization using Python. Otherwise, in C, C++, writing or simply creating a line or a plot takes somewhere around 30 to 40 lines of code. Okay, so it's very difficult to remember those lines, and uh, just it becomes more technical than uh, just trying to get or extract information from the data. Okay, so you will spend a lot of time into the technicalities rather than just focusing on the data part. And she's asking, is it easier or better? Yes, it is easier as well as better. And when I comment for better, no, it depends upon what kind of application you're working on. Okay, if you are working for development, if you want to develop a software, I won't recommend Python to you. But if you want, if you ask me which language should I use to manipulate data, I will always ask you to prefer Python over any other programming languages. So it depends upon application to application. You all, since you are here, you won't be getting into software development, I believe. Yes. So I won't recommend Python for software development. But if you ask for data manipulation, I will always recommend Python to you. And she's saying for now. Okay. Right. All right. So let's begin. Let us all begin with coding part now. Kritika is saying I am into software. How many of you are from software development? Yes. How many of you are from software development or web development? How many of you, or maybe database engineer? Anshul is a database, is from database development. Harshit is data scientist. Nice. So already might be aware of all these basics, right? Harshit is from software development. Anshul is from database development. Rajat is okay. He's from Salesforce. Okay. Sambit is a data engineer. Great. So you all might have written Python scripts. At least data engineers, database people from database might have written Python scripts. Yes. Good. Kritika is saying JavaScript web development. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, it depends upon application to application. If you are into web development, JavaScript is more preferred. You don't use C, C++ that much when it comes to web development, right? So web specific languages. All right, so let us all begin with the coding part now. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to see is variables. Okay, let me just, I hope you all have this Python notebook open now, and I'm sure the installation might have been finished by now. Good. Okay, variables. So what are variables, guys? Now, when I talk about programming, so let's say you want to perform a basic code, say perform addition. Let's say addition of 5 and 10, right? 5 and 10, and you want to use this result somewhere. What is the addition here? 15, right? And you want to use this somewhere. Let's say you are trying to create a program to, let's say, you all have bills, right? Bills or invoices. Yes, in invoices you have product 1, and then you have the price P1, P2, P3, and let's say the price is 5, 10, 15, something like this. Okay, so after this, the product list is over, what do? You do the addition of all the prices. Yes. What is the addition? 30. And then you apply some GST or some taxes over it, right? Yeah. So in order to apply taxes on this, you need this figure, right? You need this figure to apply whatever percent of taxes that you want to apply over it. Priyank, all you need to do is, let me clear the screen. See, this is a code, right? All you need to do is change it to markdown. Yes, this gets converted into a markdown, and use hashtags for writing the headline. Give a space. Now these hashtags, the more hashtags you use, the more smaller the font will become. Okay, so this is a heading. Okay, so if you see the difference here, I have used 3 hashtags. So can you notice the difference here? This heading is somewhat bigger compared to this. Yeah, so the more number of hashtags you use, the more smaller it becomes. Okay, I have which clear now. All right. Now, so if I write 5 plus 10 plus 15, it gives me 30, right? But you need to store this somewhere, right? Because I might be using this figure again in my program to, let's say I want to calculate the total, right? This is the price for product 1, this is the price for product 2, and this is the price for product 3. After performing the addition of all the prices, I want to apply taxes on whatever results that I get, right? And you can't do it directly here. If you do it directly, then you'll have to do it every time for different invoices. Are we supposed to write, perform operations like this? No, right? We have to write a code which is generalized for any prices that we write, right? Yes or no? So we need to store these. The point that I'm trying to make here is we need to store these somewhere in order to, or this results somewhere in order to use it later in our program, right? So in order to do that, we use variables. Okay, so what variables does is, I'll tell you what happens when I run this. Yeah, when I run this, what happens in the background? So we have set of memory, right? So this 5, 10, and 15 gets stored in the system somewhere, right? And you are using a plus operator over here, right? You're using a plus operator. Now this has a special meaning as when it comes to Python. Everything is defined. Okay, so this plus the corresponding instruction related to plus is already been defined. Okay, so plus, as we all know, why do we use plus sign? Yes, why do we use plus sign? We use plus sign for addition, right? Now in Python, it is also, this plus is also used for performing concatenation. We'll see that in a while. Okay, but for now, don't forget about this. We'll see that in a while. So an addition of these 3 numbers is performed. So again, the result, which is 30, gets stored in the memory somewhere. Now when I use a variable, let's say I'm using a variable called total. Okay, and I'm saying total is equals to 5 plus 10 plus 15. Okay, when I say is equals to 5 plus 10 plus 15, what happens is whatever addition that whatever addition of these numbers are, 30 gets assigned to this variable. Now, what happens when it gets assigned to this variable? So this total will address to the place where this 30 is getting stored. Okay, getting it? This total will point, okay, this total will point to the place or to the address where this 30 is getting stored. Getting it? So every time you call or every time you type total and you run it, it will always give you 30. Okay, just let me show that to you. So let's say I say total. Okay, 5 plus 10 plus 15. Now when I run this, is it printing anything? No. Now when I type total and run this, it gives me 30. Now every time I do this, it will give me 30. Okay, you keep on printing, it will give you 30 every time. Getting it, everyone? This is the main reason why we use variable. Variables basically point out or basically points to the location in your memory, in your system, where that particular value is getting stored. Okay, so variables, what variables do is variables points to the location where our value gets stored in the system. Kritika is saying to access what is stored in it. Yes. Shashwat is asking why it didn't run the first time. Shashwat, which cell number can you tell me? Which cell number you are pointing to? Cell number 3. Yes, see, it is getting run. It is not throwing any error. It is running. You mean to say why it didn't print the first time? Is that what you're asking? Yes, that's because the operation that I was trying to perform here is perform the addition and just store it to this print to this to this variable. That's it. In order to, if you want to print it, you'll have to print it like this. Now this is a shortcut, by the way. This is a shortcut. Technically you're supposed to use print function. Technically you're supposed to use a print function. Yes, and in this print you're supposed to write the name of the variable. Okay, this is the right way to do. Okay, this is the right way to do. When I ask you in the next, maybe in the upcoming sessions or next time when I ask you to print print a variable or print a value, this is how you should be doing it. Getting it, everyone? Don't take the shortcuts for now. Getting it? Now that we are on the print, I mean, since we are discussing about this print, what this print does is it simply displays the message or the value that we are passing over here in these brackets onto the console. Getting it? This is what it does. Getting it, everyone? Cool. Now let me continue with the variables for now. Okay, we'll discuss more about these functions later. Okay. Now here, if you notice, or let me say price, price 1. This is basically the price of product 1. Okay, is 5. Price of product 2 is 10, and price of product 3 is 15. Okay, and I'm saying total Hello, am I audible? Sorry, I think the power got disconnected. Okay, yeah, sorry for that. So yeah, so we have price of product 1, price of product 2, and price of product 3. Okay, we are storing price of product 1 as 5. We have price of product 2 as 10, and we have price of product 3 as 15. And total would be price 1 plus price 2 plus price 3, right? And if I run this and say print total, it will give me the total of all the prices. Now what you can do is you can always change this, say 45, 50, and let's say 100. Okay, you have 195 as the total. You don't have to write a separate, I mean, you don't have to write 45 plus 50 plus 100 every time. You have this program, it will, I mean, whenever you just change the values and run this program, every time you will have the new total. Getting it, everyone? Is it clear? Now here, if you notice, so far what we have done is we are only storing this kind of values, right? These are integer values. Yes or no? Priyank is getting an error. What is the error, Priyank? Name error. Make sure there is no space. Okay, make sure there is no space. Please make sure that there is no space here. Okay, a variable name should not have a space in it. Someone asked, how do you run a cell and go to the next, go back to a cell? So all you need to do is press shift enter. Instead of control enter, press shift enter. Priyank, can you paste your code here? Yes. Make sure, please make sure that you are writing everything as is. Okay. Price 1, price 2, price 3, total. Okay. Price 1 is not defined. See, the place where you are writing this, you have to run this. You have to run this. Make sure you are running this. Just go to this cell and click on run, and then again run this. Yeah. So whenever you are making changes, make sure you are running it. Otherwise, Python will not know that you have made the changes, right? That's why it gives you the error. Getting it? Now, what were we discussing? Yes. So here we have price is equals to 45, price is equals to 50, price is equals to 100. What are we trying to do here? Basically, we are trying to save data, right? Yes or no? Now, can the data, or will the data will always be in numbers? Yes, data, whatever manipulation that you want to do. No, right? It will be sometimes sentences, right? You may have your name, roll number, right? So what are these? So you have names, sentences, right? Yes or no? Then you have integer numbers. Numbers can be of various type, right? You have integer numbers, then you have fraction. Yes. Then you have complex numbers also. Have you heard about complex numbers? Yes. What are the types of numbers you will have? Yeah, I think number can be of these two. These are real numbers, integer and fraction, and these are complex numbers, right? So in real numbers, you have integer and fraction, right? What other types of data that you will have? Yes. Right. So basically what I'm trying to, the point that I'm trying to make here is not every time you will be performing addition, subtraction, right? This is something which we barely do, right? You will have the data in the format of a sentence, words, right? Then you will have data in fraction form. Sometimes you have data in true and false form as well. Yes, that is called as Boolean, true and false. State whether the following statements are true or false, right? Do you remember this type of questions? Objective questions. Yeah, so even this can be stored, right? So all these are called as data types in programming languages. Data types. Getting it? They are all called as data types. Getting it? What can you tell me what type of data this is? What type of data this is? And if I change this to, let's say, 45.50, this is a fraction, right? This is a fraction, right? In simple words, don't use float and all for now. People who are not from the coding background may not understand float, but they will understand this is a fraction. Yes. Right. So see, in programming languages, not just in Python, in any programming languages for that matter, you have some common data types. What are those common data types? Integers. Then you have string. Then you have float. And then you have Boolean. These data types are common across all the programming languages. Okay, you will get integers in C, C++, Java as well, strings also, floats also, and Boolean also. Okay, you will have these same data types in Python as well. Getting it? Now we'll understand what integers are. Integers are nothing but numeric values that do not have this decimal. I mean, they do not have any decimal places. Getting it? Such type of values are integer values. Such type of values are integer values. Now, when your numeric value has a decimal point, yes, decimal point in it, such type of data is called as float. Okay, getting it? And let's say you have name. Okay, name is a variable. Name is a variable that stores, let's say, name of a person. Let's say I want to write Shan here. Okay, is this how am I supposed to write? So basically, see here, name is also something like this, and Shan, if you see, how will Python identify if Shan is a variable or name is a variable? Python has to identify this. Python has to identify or differentiate. Python should be able to differentiate between a variable. Yes, see, we are using something in English here, right? Which is totally in English. So Python should be able to identify whether whatever we are writing here is a variable or a string value. Right. So as many of you are saying, we are supposed to use double quotes. You can use single quotes also, but make sure whatever quote that you're using at the start should also, I mean, that string should also end with that same type of quote. Okay. Now, when I run this and print name, I will get Shan as the output. Getting it, everyone? So these type of values are called as string data type. Strings rather. And what is the type? What is the type of this name? What is the data type of name? It is string. If you are confused, how to take or how to understand what kind of data a particular variable is holding, all you need to do is simply say type, open and close brackets. In that, you write the name of the variable that you're using. It says str. Str stands for string. Getting it? Okay. Shan is saying, could you please could you explain how you created the quotes on both the side at the same time? Okay. See, all you need to do is, let's say I have something like this. Yes, just select this and type, or simply say shift quote. That's it. The quote appears on both the sides. You need to select the string first, which you want under the quotes, and press shift quote. Rahul is asking, sir, in Python, we never heard to define data types before defining them. Yes. See, again, good question, Rahul. See, so what Rahul is asking is, now Rahul might have some knowledge about other programming languages. So in other programming languages like C, C++, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to, whenever you are declaring a variable, whenever you are writing something like this, you are supposed to write what type of data it will hold. So can you tell me what type of data this is? Now that I have told you here, can you tell me, is it an integer or float? It's a fraction, right? So what is a fraction called in programming languages? It is called as float. Okay. So in programming languages other than Java, Python, you are supposed to write the name of the variable, name of the type of the data this variable will hold. What is the type here? Float. What is the type here? Int. What is the type here? Int. This is how you are supposed to declare a variable in other programming languages. But when it comes to Python, are you supposed to write all this? No, you're not supposed to write all this. Python by default or by itself will understand what type of data is being stored or is being held. Getting it? Getting it, everyone? Any doubts so far? Yes, Kritika. It identifies and it takes the type dynamically. Shan is saying it seems to be more user friendly than C. Yes, more user friendly. That's the reason why Python is heavily used by business analysts, data scientists. Yeah, because there the task is to manipulate the data, spend more time on data than to just the coding part. Getting it? And Python has got more community support as well as compared to programming languages like R, which is also used for data frame manipulations, data manipulations. R do not have that kind of industry support as you have for Python. You might have heard, right? R is also used for data manipulation. Have you heard about it? Anyone? Yes, Sukanto is saying yes. Yeah. So you might have this doubt. Okay, if you have, I mean, people are using R also, then why we are learning Python? Because Python has got more industry support as compared to R. Getting it? I mean, whatever projects that I have done, whatever solutions that I have provided to my clients, uh, everything I've done it in Python only. I've never used R in all my 7 years of experience. I don't know. Yeah, and one more thing, R is mostly used by universities. Yeah, people where, I mean, universities have these old professors, right? They don't want to learn new programming language. Yeah, and R sometimes, I mean, they feel very easy to, explain. That's the reason why R is mostly used in universities and colleges. Niladri is asking, sir, like in C, int long takes 4 bytes. Similarly, any memory allocation for Python, same. It's the same, Niladri. It's the same. It's nothing different. Shashwat is asking, what about SAS? SAS, yes, SAS is also used. SAS may, it is mostly, I would say, more UI. You have more user interface. When I say user interface, all you need to do is uh, I mean, just click on the buttons and do all your data frame manipulation. You have somewhat similar to SAS. You have, I don't know if you have heard about Power BI. Those are used for visualization stuff. Power BI is there. Then there is more visualization tools. Power BI is the most common one. Tableau is there. Yes, Ashish, you're right. Absolutely. Tableau. Yes, but Tableau, like I said, these are all data visualization. They are all used for business intelligence, where you need to, whatever findings you have as a data scientist, if you want to present it to someone who is not from coding background or who's just into the business, to make your look, to make your results look better, to make people understand it better, you use Tableau, Power BI, and all these things. Getting it? Yes, any doubts? I hope we are clear with these integer, string, float. We haven't seen Boolean yet. Let's see Boolean. Okay. So now here, see, we have 3 variables, price 1, price 2, and price 3. Each one of these variables are holding different types of data. Price 1 is holding a float type, float data. Price 2 is holding integer data, and price 3 is holding again integer data. Okay, now when you are not sure what type of data a particular variable is holding, like I said, all you can do is you can type type, yes, and write the name of the variable inside these 2 brackets. Okay, so let's say I want to take a look at price 1. Yes, if I run this, it says int. Now you might wonder, okay, we have 45.50, which is a float here, and when I check the type of it, it is giving out int. Can anyone tell me why? What mistake I am doing here? Yes. What is the mistake that I am doing? I am not running this. I made the changes, but I'm not running it. Yes. Now, if you check the type of price 1, you will get float. Now, this is a very common mistake that people usually do. What they do is they will type everything. They will type everything, but they don't run their program. And then when they go to the next line, and let's say they are trying to print something, they'll say, array, it's not printing anything, it is giving me error, right? So this is a very common mistake people usually do. Whenever you make any changes in your code, make sure you're running it. Okay. Now, let's talk about Boolean variable. Okay. What are Boolean variables? Priyank is saying yes or no. Shan is saying true or false. Yes. So basically, whenever you want to make any decision, those decision would be based on this data type. Please mark my words. Whatever decisions that we'll be taking, if you remember, when I shared this whiteboard, no, not here. I think because I think I cleared it. If you remember, I told you about control structures, loops, if-else statements, decision statements. If you do you remember? Yeah. So this Boolean data type is highly used for making decisions. Okay, and these decisions, where what type of decisions, we will see that in a while, but these are mostly using if else statements. These are the building blocks of the if else statements. Okay, because your computer only understands yes and no in terms of true and false. Okay, so let's say I have a variable called success. I can set it to true, or I can say success is equals to false. Right now, if you check the type of this variable, it comes out to be BOOL. BOOL is a short form or Python form for Boolean. Getting it? And if you see here, whenever I'm writing this true and false, I'm not using them in quotes. Am I? Yes. If I do so, this false would be treated as string. It won't be treated as Boolean. Getting it? That's why whenever you are defining this, make sure you're not giving quotes here. Okay. And if you notice, this is turning out to be green. Yes. Anything which is green is defined internally, is defined by Python. If you notice this type also, this type, or in fact, even this print as well, these are all green. Have you noticed that? Yes. Now this is for us to differentiate between a predefined or Python defined name and the name that we define. Yes, it's called, it is called as Python keyword. They are all Python keywords. We are not supposed to set those keywords as data, as variables. If I use, let's say str, let me say str. Okay. Now, if you see here, what is str? Str is a keyword, right? Yes or no? Str is a keyword, right? What does str means? Str stands for string. Yes, correct. So if I say str is equals to, let's say Priyank. If I run this, what am I doing here? I'm saying I'm treating str as a, when I do this str is nothing but uh, a variable, and this Priyank gets stored in this variable. Now, next time, whenever I want to use str in my program, str has its own set of functionalities, right? So let's say I want to convert this 18, a number 18, to str. Okay, now when I do this, what it says, str object is not callable. Why? Because we have changed the definition of it completely. Okay, this is again a very common mistake that beginners do. What they do is they will simply use str, or simply use the name of the or the type of the data as variable name. You're not supposed to do that. This is what happens. Getting it? So never use any internal keyword as variables. Getting it? Getting it, everyone? Yes. So I'll have to go to kernel and say restart and clear output. Why? Because I have changed the meaning here. Okay. All right. Now, I hope this part is very clear to you. Integer, strings, float, and boolean. Yes, everyone? Everyone? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, now we will take a look at those data types which are specific to Python. Okay, now these data types are what are very useful. Let me write out those data types. You have lists. Yeah, lists, tuple, dictionary, and set. Okay, now these four data types are what makes Python suitable for data analysis. Getting it? We'll see that in a while. Yes, if you want to note it down. Just note it down if you want. Lists, tuple, dictionary, and set. Out of these four, lists and dictionaries are something which you will be using a lot as a data scientist or a business analyst. Lists and dictionaries are something which you'll be using a lot. Why? Because all the data frames, right? All the data frame that you will be working with, pandas data frame to be very specific. Pandas is a library. I'm sure you might not have heard about it. Some people might have, but pandas is a library in Python, which is basically used to create a data frame. Data frame is nothing but a table. Okay. Yeah, and pandas makes our life way easier as compared to other libraries. Pandas is a library which has been provided by the Python community to help us manipulate the data frame. Okay, in few lines of code. Sometimes only one single line of code can do wonders. Okay, all you need to do is use the right set of functions that are being provided by pandas. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is the pandas data frame, right? Those are created using lists and dictionaries in the background. You might not even realize it, but lists and dictionaries are somewhat used in the background. Okay, that is why we are learning these, and they are also called as let me just write it down here. They are also called as container objects. Okay, they are also called as container objects. They are also called as collections as well. Okay, and in this you can get str also, string, as collection. Getting it? Yes. Now there's one more thing that I wanted to tell you about strings before starting with list, tuple, and dictionary. Let me just clear my screen. So see, I have stored few names here, right? When I define this variable name is equals to Shan, when I have defined this, now how this gets stored in the background. So what happens is you have memory in your system, right? Now when you store number, like let's say I want to define age as 25. So this 25 gets stored in one single block. Okay, any number for that matter, even let's say if I want to whenever I'm saying price is equals to 45.5, this 45.50 gets stored in a single block. But whenever you are defining something like this collection, basically whenever you are using collection objects, whenever you are defining any collection object, how the data gets stored is something which we are looking right now. So this Shan gets stored in this manner, SHAAN. Okay, and this name points to this block, this entire blocks, this array of blocks. Getting it? Now, if you want to access, now the beauty of collections is that you can access any of these elements one by one. You can access any of these elements. For example, if you want to print just this S, I want to print just this S. So how will you print it? You will use the name of the variable, use a square bracket, and use something called as index. Now, what are index? Indexes are nothing but whenever you're defining a collection object, what happens is it gets stored in this manner, and the addresses starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many elements do we have? We have 5 elements, but the numbering always starts from 0. Getting it? So if I want to access S, I will just enter the index of S. So you have the name of the variable. Here the name of the variable is name, and there is no space, by the way. I give a square bracket and just enter 0 over here. I will get S. Getting it? Similarly, whenever you are accessing lists, tuple, just these two parts, not dictionary, because indexing works differently in dictionary. All you need to do is you need to pass the index of that particular element which you want to access. Okay, getting it, everyone? Yes. Okay, I'll show this part as well. So let's say we have, say, name is equals to Priyank. Okay, now I want you to tell me, when I type 5 here, what will I get as the output? A lot of you are saying N, some of you are saying A. Yes. Is it A or N? Why N? Why not A? Yes. Yes. So always remember the indexing starts from 0. So how is this Priyank getting stored? I mean, not Priyank as a person, but this name. How is this name getting stored? So you have P R I Y A N K, right? And the indexing starts from 0. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5, and this is 6. How many elements? 7 elements, right? So let's try to run this and see what is the output. It's N, right? Getting it, everyone? How this works? Now, from this name, from this Priyank, let's say I just want to access PRIYA. I don't want to access N and K. How am I supposed to do it? You just can't access one. You can also access multiple elements as one at once. Here, see, I have just passed one index, so I'll get one element as the output. You can access multiple elements as well, but how are we supposed to do it? Let me give you the syntax first. Syntax is nothing but grammar. Okay, so the grammar is something like this: name of the variable, variable name, square bracket, start index, colon, stop index, colon, step. Okay, now where I want to access PRIYA. So where should I start? What should be my start index? First of all, tell me what should I write first? What is the syntax? Variable name, right? What is the variable name? The name of the variable is NAME, right? Then I'll write the square bracket. I'm starting of the square bracket. Then yes, what am I supposed to give? Start index. What is the start index? 0. Yes, correct. Then next, what do we have? We have colon, right? According to this syntax, please refer this syntax. Yes, we have colon. And now tell me what should be the stop index. What should be the stop index? Yeah, so I'll say 4 here. And what should be the step? So step is something like this: one step, one step, one step, one step. If you want to go 2 step, you will sorry, not there is the eraser. Yeah, so this is 2 step, 2 step, 2 step. Yeah, so what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to access each element one after the other, right? So what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to keep step as 1. Right now when you run this, tell me what happens. What is the output? I want you to run this. Oh my god, A is missing. What to do? So name 0 4 1. So it only prints PRIY. It should be PRIYA, right? Now you might say, you might wonder, okay, ये हो गया pre PRIYA. I have given all the, I mean, I have provided the start index, I have provided the end index as well. But why is it not printing A? Why is it stopping here? So let me tell you how this works. Okay. Let me clear all the screen. Let me tell you how this works. So you have P R I Y A N K. Okay, this is 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it works something like this. It starts 0, goes here, and when I stop at 1, if I put this and this, I put this as stop and this as start, only one element is consumed, that is P. Yes or no? Only one element is getting consumed, right? So it works something like this in a zigzag manner. So when I stop at 2, only 2 elements are getting consumed, P and R, right? When I stop at 3, 3 elements will get consumed. When I stop at this 4, only these 4 elements will get consumed. And when I stop at 5, these 5 elements will get consumed, right? So when I give a stop index, it doesn't go down, right? So it goes something like this. Getting it, everyone? In a zigzag manner. So this is a easy way to remember this, just to visualize how these things work. When I say give a stop index, this is where it stops. It doesn't go here to access this element. Getting it? So now tell me how am I supposed to what should I update here? Name 0 colon. Now what should I give? Should I give 4 or no? Enter 5. Yes. So Shan is absolutely right. We are supposed to give name 0 colon 5 colon 1. You have PRIYA now. Yes. Getting it? Now, the same thing can be written as like this also, because by default this is always 1 by default, huh? Unless you want to change the step. By default the step is always 1. Shan is saying, sir, can it be removed? You can print it something like this. Okay, it's not there. By the way, this is a string, that's why you have this. If you use print, you won't have quotes, but it is a string, right? Yeah, Gaurang is asking if we take, good question. What is the question? 0 colon 5 colon 2. It says it prints PIA. Yes. So let's see how this works. PRIYANK. Okay, so this is 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so you're giving step as 2 here, right, Gaurang? So only these elements will get accessed, right? So 0 1 2 3 4 5, this is where it will stop, right? And before this, how many elements are getting accessed? Just 3. 1 2 3. Getting it? That's the reason why you have this as the output. You see, this is P, this is I, and this is A. I hope it's clear. Go down. Okay, now let's move to, we'll take a 5 minutes break. Okay, we'll take a 5 minutes break. It's 12:20 now. Okay, it's 12:20. We'll meet back 12:25. Okay, 12:25, guys. I'll see you at 12:25. All right, everyone's back. Everyone. As I can see only a couple of guys saying yes. What about others? All right, let's start. So I hope this indexing part is clear with strings. Now the same logic can be applied with lists and tuples also. Now we'll see list and tuples uh, and dictionary, and we won't take a look at set. Okay, we will focus on lists and dictionary more as compared to tuple and set. Okay, now these are the most important ones. Let's start with lists. Before starting just with the list part, let me show you how list, tuple, dictionaries uh, are defined. Okay, we all know that strings are defined using quotes, right? How you declare a string variable using quotes? Yes or no? So lists will be declared using a square bracket. Please take a note of this. Tuples will be declared using round brackets. Dictionaries are defined or declared using curly brackets. Okay, just take a note of these things. Okay, now these data types can hold data types of multiple I mean they can hold multiple sequence of elements, or should I say heterogeneous sequence of elements. Let's start with list and understand this part. Okay, so let's say I have, let's say I want to store customer details. Okay, customer details. Also, if you notice, the variable that I'm giving here, that I'm defining here, I'm not giving a space. Okay, you are not supposed to give a space uh, in the variable. Okay, make sure you're using underscore. Getting it? So yeah, this is a variable name, and customer details may I'm storing customer's age. Let's say the age of the customer is 20. Customer name, let's say John, and let's say I want to store customer. I mean the price that the customer needs to pay. Let's say 86, or let me say 86.5. So here, if you notice, I'm creating a list. How am I creating a list? By giving out this square brackets, and inside these square brackets, I am giving, yeah, you can provide these male also, male or female, whatever. Yeah, so here if you notice, I'm giving the age, name, the price that the person has to pay, and the gender of that person, right? So if you notice, all these elements are of different data types. This male and this John are of string data type. Yes, this 20 is integer data type, and this 86.5 is a float data type, right? So basically this is a collection of heterogeneous elements, or should I say elements with different data types, right? Getting it? If I run this and check the type of customer details it is list. Getting it? Getting it? Are we clear till here? Now you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing with tuples also. Now you all know that tuples are defined using round brackets. Yes or no? If I run this and now check the type of customer details, it is tuple now, right? Now you might wonder that what is the difference then? Just square brackets? Is that what the difference is? Or it has more to do with the functionality, what they offer? Yes, any guesses? What do you think? Right, so you might have come across this word called mutable and immutable. Lists are mutable, whereas tuples are immutable. What is the meaning of mutable and immutable? Yes. What is the meaning of mutable and immutable? Harshit is saying immutable matlab can't change. Right. So let's say let me take this. Okay. Let me take list. Okay. Now here, let's say now in this customer details 20 John 86.5 male. Let's say this John person pays this 86.5 and I want to update this list as paid. I want to add one more entry that the amount has been paid, right? So what I'll do is customer details dot append. Okay, I'll get to this part, what this append and all means. I'll say paid. Okay, after the payment is done, I want to update this. Okay, now when I run this and now print customer details, I have this paid getting entered into the original list, right? This was the original list. Yes or no? This was the original list. Yes or no? This is how we defined it, right? But then after the amount was paid by this person, I want to add the status of the amount that the amount was paid, right? Now all I need to do is I can say customer.append and I will simply say what this append means is that I'm just simply adding this paid into this list. That's it. That is what it means. Okay, I'll get to this part. Don't worry. So here the original state of this list is getting changed to this now. Yes or no? It is added now. Yes or no? So this is what mutable means. That means that the original state of a particular list can be changed. Yes, particular state of a list can be changed. This is what mutable means. Now what is immutable? Okay, let's see. Let me take this customer details. This time I'm using tuple. Okay, please see here I'm using round brackets and let me add paid here. Okay, let me just add paid. Okay, now can anyone tell me how should I delete this paid? Okay, I want to delete this paid. I mean there was a mistake from my end that I updated the status to paid, but it was for some other customer. Okay, but I by mistake changed paid for John. I want to change it now. Since it is immutable, it can't be changed, right? But let's understand it practically. Let's do it and see it how we can do it. First of all, this append is a function provided by the list. Do we have any functions provided by tuples to remove this? Let's see. What is the type of customer detail? It's tuple, right? So customer detail dot, and if I hit a tab, it only gives count and index. Yes or no? There's a shortcut. After you give a dot here and hit a tab, it just gives you count and index. Basically, what this count and index is that these two functions, they are called as methods, by the way. Methods. Let me just write it down. Methods and functions. Oops. These are two different things. I will explain this to part, don't worry. But for now, here, if I run this customer details, what is the type of customer detail now? Please pay attention, everyone. It is list, right? I'm running it, okay? Earlier it was this, but now that I have run this, so the type changes. And if I say customer details dot and hit a tab, I will get a drop down, which basically gives me multiple functions. Now, since these functions can only be applied on the lists, they are called as lists methods. Okay, this append is something which can only be applied to lists. This clear, this copy, all this, whatever you are able to see, right? This can only be applied on list. You cannot use append with tuples. Append can only be used with lists. Okay, that's why when I use this append, it works. Right now, if I work with customer and if I say dot append, let's say I want to append the product that the person has bought. So let's say the product is bakery. Okay, if I try to do this, what it says, tuple object has no attribute append. That means you cannot use append. Right? Getting it? Is it clear? But I still want to delete this paid, right? I still want to delete this paid. Can I do it? How do I delete it first? So there is this way called del, and here I will pass what is the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? I want to delete the fourth element. Now, if I run this, if you see, it says tuple object does not support item deletion. It does not support item deletion, updation, or anything. So basically, we now see, right, immutable. This is what immutability means. Once you have defined your tuple, you cannot change the tuple. Getting it? Getting it, everyone? Is this point clear? See, I tried to delete this particular element, right? So for cases like this, where we are supposed to update the information, lists are used. And in cases where once you define anything and you want to make sure that after definition the values should not be changed, in that scenario you will use tuple. But we don't use tuple that much. We use lists a lot. Getting it, everyone? Yes? Yes, no, maybe. Any doubts? So I hope this mutable and immutable part is clear now. Yes. Now, when you go back home, I want you to explore. Sorry. I want you to explore all these methods. What are their functionalities? What do they do? Now, there is a shortcut that I want to tell you. Now, this applies not just for this course. If you are using Python, if you are learning Python, or maybe in future if you are working on Python in the company, and if you are using a Jupyter notebook, all you can do is, let's say, this append, and you don't understand what this append does, right? So there is this shortcut called Shift Tab. Okay, Shift plus Tab. Okay, when you do a Shift Tab, it tells what it does. It tells that it appends the object to the end of the list. Shan is saying, do we have any requirement for an immutable collection only in a programming environment? I mean, I feel it would not be used only like you said. So just wondering, where do we use tuple actually there? So like I said, so see what happens is, whenever you are defining anything in your program, you're not just writing one single line of code, right? You are writing multiple lines of code. And let's say you want to define some values that by mistake should not also get changed. Yeah, so yeah, for example, Harshit is saying that tuple is used for server state, the values are fixed, and you want to make sure that not even by mistake the value should get changed, right? So in such situations where you want to store some values that should not be get changed, for example, status can only be true or false, right? You don't want to update, or you don't want your tuple to get updated, or you don't want your these states to be get updated during runtime, right? If it gets updated, uh, things can go wrong, right? So in such situations you will use tuples. Getting it? Yes. Okay, so mostly but for our scenarios we mostly use lists and dictionaries a lot. Okay, getting it? Shan, is that clear? Now when you go back home, just like we saw append, no, just like we saw append, I want you to take a look at other functions as well. Okay, if you don't understand, that's fine. You can always use a Shift tab. Always have this habit of using Shift tab, because it tells you what a particular function does. Okay, see, it's not possible to cover all the functions in our session, because if I try to do that, here if you see the list itself, how many, at least 10 to 13, or how many, just count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. You have 13 methods over here, right? Tuples have just 2. Dictionaries again will have more functions, right? So if I teach you all these things, it will take forever to finish these classes, right? So this is something which can be done. It's not that I mean, there's no rocket science involved. All you need to do is use a Shift tab, and it tells you what it does. Okay, just experiment and see what it does, and then you will understand. Getting it? Priyank is asking how this drop and drag is coming, like append, copy, and other function. Sorry, Priyank, I didn't understand your question. Can you reframe it? How this drop and drag is coming? You mean to say this? Yeah, so like I said, no, after you write the name of the variable, this is the name of the variable, right? Use a dot operator, and I mean, just type dot and hit a tab. Okay, when you hit a tab, the list appears. Getting it? Yeah, tab is something which you need to use. All right. So let's move ahead. So so list and tuples is done. Next we see dictionary. Yeah. So dictionary. How do we define dictionary? Using curly brackets, right? We use curly brackets to define dictionaries, right? But always remember. Let me give you the syntax. It's my pen. Yeah, there it is. So always remember, whenever you are defining a dictionary, okay, here in tuple or list for that matter, you just pass the elements, right? You just pass the information that you want to store. But when it comes to dictionary, the elements are not stored in this fashion. Okay, the elements are not stored in this fashion, but in key value pair. Key and value pair. I'll tell you how. Okay, so so let's say you want to store customer details again. Okay, you want to store customer details. Okay, so here, since I'm defining a dictionary, I'll use curly brackets. Yes, so key and value pair, the values should always be in key and value pair. So here you will use name. We pass the name of the person, let's say Sean, right? Since it's a string. Yes, even this key is a string, right? So it has to be string. You shouldn't pass it like variable. Then you have let's say gender, say male. Okay, let's say products. Now here, since when you go into a market, you never buy just one product, you buy multiple products, right? So here you will have a list and you will pass product 1, product 2. Of course, you will, since these are strings, you will provide name in name in strings, p3, p4, and so on. Okay, so this becomes key and this becomes value. This becomes key, this becomes its value, this becomes key and this becomes its value. Make sure you are separating it with a comma. Okay, next you might want to enter price of the products, say 100, 200, 300, 400, and so on. Getting it? And you end the dictionary. Getting it? This is how you define a dictionary. So it always has to be in key colon value pair. Okay, don't remember, do remember this curly brackets. Getting it? So let's define this in our program. So here again, customer details is equals to, I'm giving curly brackets here, so name Sean, gender male, and products purchased, and this has to be in string. Okay, the key and value should be in strings. It is not It is not a variable name to give it like this. Okay, you're not supposed to give the key some like this. It has to go in quotes. Okay, so product purchase, since multiple products would be bought, so you can say bakery, cosmetics, yes, what else, cereals, milk, etc. Okay, and then you will write price. Okay, so price, again a list, 100, 200, 300, 400. Okay, when you run this and print dictionary, which is nothing but the customer details, you will have something, the information, something like this. Okay, name is Shan, gender is male, product purchase are this, and these are the prices. Okay, now when you have your information stored in this format, the data frame manipulation or storing this data in your data frame, pandas data frame, becomes easy, right? So you will have name as column name, and Shan is one of the entry. Then you have gender as a column name. So these all keys, these all keys becomes the name of the column, and these becomes the entries, right? So this is one row. Likewise, you will have multiple rows for multiple customers. Getting it? So if you want to check the type of customer details, it is DICT, which is the short form of dictionary. Hiten Fatnani is asking, can this create a user form to fill? Hiten, I didn't get you. What are you trying to say here? Writing this code, will it create a form? Yes, yes, definitely. But not just this, of course, you will have to, I mean, you can use this in the program. You can use a dictionary in the program. But of course, this simple one single line will not create the entire form. You will have to write the program accordingly. But if your question is, can we use dictionary? Yes, we can use dictionary. Shan is asking, do we have to create individual dictionary for each of the customer purchase? Not really. Not really. So see, all you need to do is, if you are expecting more customers, just create a list. Okay, keep it inside, keep all this value inside a list. Now as we all know that create everything inside a list. Even this list has to go inside a list, because since this is a list in itself, but this entire list is for one single customer, right, Shan? Right now, since you have lists here, you can always append values, right, in the name, in the key name. Yes, it is mutable, Shan. Dictionaries are mutable, right? So if you have multiple entries, if you're expecting multiple entries, always make sure that you create a lists as a value. Okay, so that you can always append the names as and when required. Getting it? So customer details, next time you append, let's say Priyank. Okay, so it will look something like this. Okay, I'm guessing it, Priyank is a male. So item purchased would be, let's say he's buying just two items, right? Not necessary he will buy 4 items at once. So let's say milk and bread, that's it, right? This entry belongs to Shan and this entry belongs to Priyank. Even in prices, this entry belongs to Shan, and the next entry that I'll write for milk, let's say 25 comma say 20, this will be belong to Priyank, right? So this is, I have done it manually. You can always use dot append using, we'll see those operations in a while, don't worry. We'll see, maybe in the next session we'll see more operations related to dictionaries. Ujjwal is saying, sir, I have an emergency situation. Would it be okay if I may cover the remaining part of the YouTube video? Up to you, Ujjwal. To you. Yeah, but make sure that you follow all the instructions that I provided you in the beginning, to go through all the videos before coming to the next session, okay? Because I don't want you to get blank, and trust me, next session won't be this simple. Okay, I'm warning you. All right. Yeah, so now if you check for customer details, if you use a dot and hit a tab, now if you see the lists of methods are different: clear, copy, from, keys, get, items, keys, pop items, set default, update values. Okay, I want each one of you to go through all these. Okay, they are all simple operations. Okay, if you don't understand anything, for example, let's say I want to say just keys. Okay, go to, take your cursor to keys and press shift tab. So what is the description here? A set like object providing a view of the dictionary's keys. So can you tell me what all keys do we have? Name, gender, product purchased, and price, right? So if I run this, it gives me the all the keys that are associated with this dictionary, right? And this doc string sometimes will also tell you how to use it. Okay, it will also tell you how to use it. Getting it, everyone? Are we clear? Any questions? Priyank is having some syntax error. Let's see. Let me copy this and see. Invalid syntax. Somewhere here. Okay, bakery, cosmetics, cereals, milk, toy, bike. Price is also given. Yeah, so you forgot to give a comma here. You forgot to give comma here. Okay, so if you run this, won't get any error. All right. So yeah, see, today's session we only covered basics. I also wanted to cover the if else and the loop part. If you don't mind, can I extend for the next 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes? Yes, or do you have any exam? Or I mean, I don't want to disturb your schedule. Okay, I can see only few of you saying yes. Okay, all right. Yeah, so the next thing that we are going to see is the if else statements. Okay, what are these if else statements? Why do we use if else statements? Yes, anyone would like to make a guess here? I'm not expecting a right answer, but any guesses? What do you think? What is your opinion? Why do we use if else statement? Ethan is saying multiple condition checking, right? Logical operations, true, false. So see, let me let me give you a very high level view here. So see, these are all part of Python flow control. Now, what I mean by Python flow, so see, any program that you write, okay, see, whatever we have done so far, whatever we have seen so far is just define what we just understood what are data types. We understood how different data types are defined, right? We just have understood that part. But do you think a program is just about defining data types? No, right? As in the beginning you all said, right, what is a program? Program is nothing but set of instructions. Yes or no? So it's not just giving out or defining variables. It's more than that. So every program that we write has a flow associated with it. Okay, when I say flow, a program will have uh, a variable declaration. A program will have conditional statements. A program will have loops, and the program will have function calls. What are function calls? So if you, so far we have only seen two functions. One is print, and the other is type, right? So any program that you write, I'm not saying just a line of code. Any program that you write uh, is composed of four things. Must have four things. One is, oh, sorry. One is variable declaration. Yes, this is what we have seen so far. Yes. Second is conditional statements. Conditional statements. Third is loops, and fourth is function calls. A program is composed of these four things. इसके अलावा और कुछ नहीं होता. You will have only these things in your program. But how do you use it is what matters. We have seen variable declaration. We will now see conditional statements. Okay. Now, what are conditional statements, guys? Conditional statements are statements. Let me give you a scenario here. Let me just go back to the Jupyter notebook. Yeah. So sometimes we want to execute only a certain part of the code when a certain condition is true. For example, let's say you want to, let's say you go to buy ticket. You are traveling in a bus. Okay, consider a situation. You are traveling in a bus, and if you have noticed, the bus fares for different age group is different, right? For children it's different, for adults it's different, and for senior citizens the fare is different, right? Yes or no? Now, based on the age, you want your system to print the bus fare accordingly, right? Yes or no? So there the program will have to make a decision based on the age that is being entered. Yes or no? Yes or no? The program should dynamically make a decision based on the age that is being entered by the conductor, bus conductor, right? So if let's say the bus conductor enters age 5, so accordingly the system should print the bus fare applicable to only that person, only that baby, right? So here the system is trying to make a decision based on age. So these decisions, all these decisions are taken by if else statement. Getting it? Getting it? Or basically, or should I say conditional statements, to be very conditional statements. There are three types of conditional statements. Okay. First is the if statement. Next is if else statement, and the third is if else statement. Okay, these are the three different types of statements. Okay, just ignore this BR part. Okay, people who are from HTML, they might understand what I'm trying to. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so these three, first we will see the if statement. The if statement. Okay, so what is a if statement? So if statement is used only when you want Python to make decision only when the particular condition is true, only when a particular condition is true. If you are using just the if statement, the Python program doesn't care about what if the condition is false. It just takes care of the condition being true. That's it. Okay, so if let's say I have a number, and let's say I'm defining a number. This is a very basic example. Let's say 3. Okay, and I'm saying if I'm using a keyword if here. Okay, and I'm writing a condition. How am I supposed to write a condition? Number greater than 3 or 0. Print. I'll explain you. Don't worry. The number is positive. Print. This is getting printed anyways. When I run this, what is the output that I have? The first is the number is positive, and the second is this is getting printed anyways. Okay, now let's understand this program. Okay, so the entered number is 3. Next line is, this is the first line, this is the second line of code. What is the second line of code? I'm using if, and this if keyword is followed by a condition. We are always supposed to write a condition after this keyword. Okay, take care of this. So what is the condition? Number greater than 0. Is this condition true for this number? Is this condition true for this entered number, which is 3? Yes, no, yes, right? So what happens is, here if you notice, there is an indentation, there is a space. I have given a colon here and there is a space here. What does this mean? This particular line of code is a part of this if. This particular line of code, or it will have multiple lines of code here. Print the number is, okay, you can write multiple lines over here, but all these lines would be part of this if statement. So whenever this condition is true, the Python execution will get inside this. Okay, it will get inside this and it will execute these many lines of code. Okay, so if you run this, see, it prints the number is positive, the number is number, what is this number? 3, right? And this is getting printed anyway. So let's see, if I give -5 over here, what happens? What happens if I give -5? Will it get inside this? First of all, is this condition, what is the condition? Number greater than 0. What is the number? -5. Is -5 greater than 0? True or false? False, right? So whenever this condition is false, the Python execution will not get inside this. Okay, now what is the line coming after this? Because since the number is -5 and this condition is coming out to be false, the execution won't go here. It will go to the next part, which is not a part of this body, the body of if, which is nothing but this is getting printed anyway. So what will be the answer? The answer will be this is getting printed anyways. Getting it? Getting it, everyone? Any doubts here? Any doubts? Where is Ansh? Ansh has left the chat. Yeah, Ansh is there. He's silent. What happened? Not understanding anything. I saw him being active at the first half. I don't know what happened in the second half. Yeah. Any doubts here? Now see, if you, I told you that any program has a declaration, a conditional statement, right? Yes or no? So your programs will always have a declaration, conditional statement. Sometimes it will have loops as well, and this is a function call. Getting it? This is how a program looks like. Now let's talk about, now here if you see, if you notice, this if is only taking care of this condition being, yes, this condition being true, right? If this condition is true, it says the number is positive. It should also say that our program should also say that what type of number is this, right? If the number is not positive, what type of number is it, right? So here we use if else statement. This else part takes care of what if your condition is false. So let's see how this works. So I'll say number is equals to, let's not enter any number for now. Let's focus on the if else part. So if number is greater than 0 colon, see, this is the syntax, if condition colon, this is the syntax. When you hit enter, no, it automatically gets inside the body. So you say print the number is positive, and you're supposed to write else below if, else print the number, sorry, this is a string, so the number is negative. And I will also say, just for your understanding, print this gets printed anyways, because this is not a part of the conditional statement. So if I run this, oh, I haven't given the number here. So let's say I'm giving just the number 5. So what happens? It goes here. It checks number is greater than 0. Yes, the number is greater than 0. True. So the execution gets inside this and it prints the number is positive. Yes, but the execution does not go to this part. The execution does not go to this part. Why? Because this condition was true, right? So for true, the execution will get here. It will not go here, right? So the program has made the decision that I won't go here. I will just execute this part. That's it. I will only execute this part. I won't execute this part, right? And after this if else, there is this print, which is not a part of this. Hence, this gets printed anyways. This gets executed anyways. What if I give -5 over here? So this numbers carries this -5. It goes to the next line, which is number, if number greater than 0, is -5 greater than 0, false. So the execution won't go here. It goes to the else part. It says the number is negative. So you get this output now. Anshul is asking a very good question here. He's asking, what if we want to enter the number at runtime instead of predefined? How can we do it here? So here So there is this function called input. Okay, I'll tell you what. Here I will say input, and I will ask, I will print a message to the user, enter any number. Okay, so this part will appear in the output, and there is a box provided by Python interpreter for us to enter the number. But the problem here is, I'll tell you what the problem is. When you enter, see, when you run this, the execution is here only. Okay, it will not go to this part unless and until we enter any number here. Okay, so let me enter 9. So what happens? What is the error? Let's understand the error. The error is this greater than sign not supported between instance of str and int. What does this mean? This means that ये जो input है ना, by default this input takes whatever value that we enter as strings. Getting it? It by default takes everything as strings. So we need to convert that, right? Here for the fact, here is the fact that we know here is that we are expecting number. So we will convert this into int. This is how you convert it. This is called typecasting. Good question, Anshul. So I'll give you an example of typecasting. So what is happening over here is, if I don't give int here, ये input है ना. So what happens is the number gets 9, right? Yeah. So ऐसे आता है वो number. The number gets stored like this. Now if I compare, this is like I'm comparing this string with 0. Am I supposed to am I supposed to do this? You cannot consider, or you cannot compare a string with a number, right? Can we? So what it says, not supported. This is exactly what you are getting here. Now if I say int over here, so what happens is, ये int है ना, this converts this string 9 into just 9. Yes, so it is getting converted and it says it is true or false, right? So I'm supposed to give int over here. Getting it? Why am I giving int here? Yes, so if I run this and let's say if I give 9, it says the number is positive. This gets printed anyways. And if I give 5, again it says the number is positive, this number, and let's say if I give -9 or -3, it says the number is negative, this gets printed anyways. Getting it? So what is happening here is, number which I'm entering is -3. Is -3 greater than 0? False. So the execution won't get inside here, it will get here in the else part. So this is getting executed. That's the reason why I have this in the output. And this is so anyways getting printed, because this is not a part of this if else body. Getting it? Yes, no, maybe. Any doubts? Akshata is asking why we have to write get printed anyways always. Not necessary. This is just to show you that okay, that part is also getting executed. Not necessary. This was just to explain you. This is just to explain you the execution, show you the execution, how its execution work. Priyank is asking, you were talking about input command. Yes, what about that, Priyank? Yeah, that's fine. You ask the question. What is your question? See, in the chat, no, what happens is there are lots of messages coming and there's very small window. Okay, I hope you know how this Zoom works, right? So it might happen that I might miss some of your questions. So you might want to, again, copy and paste it. Yeah, Priyank is saying for entering, you said there is a input command. So yeah, so what, who asked this question? I think Akshata, right? I forgot. So the question was that I want to enter the number while the programming is getting executed. I don't want to give it like this. Every time I have to give -5, -9, right? So instead of that, I'm dynamically writing this so that at the runtime itself, when the program is running, I can give any number here. Okay, I don't want to go back and replace the number every time. Right? I don't want to go back and replace the number every time. That's the reason why I'm giving this input. So for any number that is being entered, the program should give me the output. Now, I think Shan asked a question, what if the entered number is 0? Let's run this. What if the entered number is 0? It is saying the number is negative. Is the number negative? Is 0 negative? No, right? So what should we do here? Yes, so this is where this elif comes into the picture. Okay, so see, this part, this if statement only takes care of condition being true, whereas if else statement takes care of condition being true as well as false. Right now, here in the if statement and the if else statement, we are only talking about one condition, right? But in real time, you want to give multiple conditions, right? You want to check multiple conditions, right? What will you do? So the if else statement takes care of multiple conditions. Let's see. So this was the example of if else statement, right? Now we will see elif okay. Yeah, so again I'm just writing the same thing. Now where am I supposed to give the else elif part? Here, elif. I have checked whether the number entered was positive or not. Next I will check number is less than 0. Print the number is negative. If the number does not belong in any of this, if it is not positive and if it is not negative, that means the number is 0, right? Yes or no? I don't have to give third condition. These two conditions. See, think logically. If the number is greater than 0, that means the number is positive. If the number is less than 0, that means the number is negative, right? If the number is neither positive neither negative, that means the number is 0, right? So should I give the third statement? This will only get executed if this is true. This will only get executed if this is true. This will get executed if all the condition above this is false. So if both these statements are false, this will get printed, right? So if I run this, if I enter 1, the number is positive, it says the number is positive. Let's run this again. If I enter 2, sorry, -2, it says the number is negative. If I run this again, and this time I enter 0, it says the number is 0. Getting it? So always remember this if else statement is used for multiple conditions. The if else statement, okay, this if else statement is only used for one condition being true or false, for only one condition. And this if statement is used for only one condition being true. That's it. Getting it? Are we clear? Niladri is asking, can nested if be used here? Yes. Niladri, we will take a look at more examples. This was just to explain you what conditional statements are. In the next session, I will take more examples on if else statement. Okay. I will also make sure that I'm using more nested if else part to make you comfortable with the nested if else statements as well, nested conditional statements. Okay, getting it? Ankur is asking, sir, can you please once again explain how you made multiple lists in the dictionary after explaining these concepts? Sure. Vikram is asking, any specific expectations for project? Yeah, so in project, no. See, most of the times, from today's session's point of view, lists and dictionaries is something which you will be using a lot. Okay, I mean, most of the operations, most of the tasks that are involved mostly uses lists and dictionaries. So you might want to understand the dictionary and list concept really well. Okay, so like I said, please go through all the methods. Yeah, if you remember, when I defined a dictionary, I used a dot operator and I used a tab, and then you get the list of all the methods. Similarly for dictionary as well, you get the list of all the methods. Just go through them, understand what they do. Okay, make sure you go through all the videos that are provided. Getting it? And this is so very generalized. This if else statement is very generalized. Okay, you'll have to understand this in any programming language, not just in Python. Yeah, so Ankur, let me get that dictionary for you. Okay, so visually this this doesn't look very uh, readable, right? So let me hit enter after every comma so that you understand, you get this visually right. Yeah, so Ankur, dictionaries are defined using curly brackets, and inside the curly brackets, the elements which are present in the form of key and value pair. Okay, so this would be key 1 value 1 comma key 2 value 2 and so on. Okay, this is the syntax. Syntax means this is the grammar that you should follow. Okay, getting it? Is the syntax clear? Right, now what I'm doing is I'm using a customer details where I'm providing details of multiple customers of all the products, of all the purchases they have made, right? So here this name, right? Name, what is name here? Name is a key, right? Here if you notice, all the elements that are present inside this customer details are present in the key and value format. This is a key, this is a colon, and this is the value of that key. Okay, this is the key, this is the value of this key, this is the key, and these are the values of this key, and so on. Getting it? Now, what is the first key? Name, right? So I'm giving a list here. Why am I giving list here? Because this name can hold multiple names, right? That's why I'm giving a list here. And the main reason, another reason why I'm giving list here is that
Program, sorry.
I might want to add more customer details in this dictionary. That's the reason why I'm giving a list over here for name. For gender also I'm giving list, because I don't know, next might be, let's say, uh, I might have Akshata as a customer here. I'm guessing female, and let's say she only bought books. That's it. Okay, but I'm guessing your doubt is something like this. Why am I giving double lists? Is that what your doubt is? Ankur, what is your doubt here? Why square brackets? Because square brackets, see, what is this? This is a list, right? On product purchased. Yeah, so see, what is this called? This is called as list of lists. Basically, this is a list of multiple sublists. If you remember, I told you that lists can hold heterogeneous elements, right? If you remember, see, lists, like I said, can hold a number also, I mean of integer also, float also, it can hold string also, right? Similarly, it can hold a sublist as well, a list as well. So let's say X, Y, Z, and it can hold tuple also. This is a tuple. Hello world. Okay, if I run this and print lists, see what happens. This is a number, this is a float, this is a name, this is a list, and this is a tuple. Getting it, Ankur? So what this represent is, this is a list within a list. Yes, these are lists within a parent list. The outer square bracket that you see is the parent list, and this basically are the sub lists, and this sub list represents the products that these guys bought. So Shan bought bakery, customer, cereals, milk. Priyank bought toy, bike. Akshata bought just books. Okay, similarly you can have here, you will get one more list here. So let's say 700 was the charge of the books. Got it? Ashish is saying, how do we call product of Shan only? Yeah, we'll see that in the next session. Don't worry. We'll see that. I don't want to make things complicated now. I want you to go through all the methods first. Come back in the next session. We'll see all the operations. Okay. Priyank is asking, can you go up where you wrote conditional statements? Okay. This part, Priyank. Okay. Ashish, I'll give you a hint here. See, customer details. Okay, I'll use a square bracket and I will use name here. Okay, so name may I have Shan and Priyank, right? But you want product purchased for Shan, right? So, I mean, if you can take some hints from this, maybe you will understand. I won't answer now. Ashish is asking dot operator. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, sure, Pranjay, you can roll the feedback form with the learners.
Sure, thanks. Sir.
So Priyank, uh, Pranjay will share a feedback form to you. So yeah, please provide your feedback there. And yeah, if you want me to take slides and explain it to you, I mean, I don't mind that. But I think this explaining you things programmatically makes more sense than just walking you through slides. So yeah, I mean, if you want slides, I'll show it to you. Rahul is saying, please share this workbook with us for practice. Okay. Can I share HTML file directly in the chat? Can I do that? Let's see. Let's see. 1 second, guys. I'm not in the chat if you are just trying to copy that file and share it. No, .html is something which I'm not able to share here. Let me try the IPYNB file. No, I don't think it is allowing me to paste the py file here in the chat. Yeah, I might have to share it on Drive and then share the link with you. 1 second, I'll upload it in my Drive and then share it with you. Just 1 sec. I'll have to create a folder. While I'm on that, let me also tell you that please don't consider this programming subject, this Python basics of Python as any of your, don't compare it with any of your MBA core subjects. Okay, even if I even when you go back home and learn these topics, you might understand it really well, but when it comes to application you might not be able to do so. Okay, so the only thing, I mean, the better way to learn programming is practice. Okay, it's like learning say guitar. Okay, even if I explain you what are notes and what are chords, even if I tell you what is C sharp, yeah, how we play leads, you will understand it. But if I give you after explaining, if I give it to you, hand it over to you, you won't be able to play it, right? The strumming pattern, then the way you hold it, right? So it comes with practice. So don't treat this subject as a theoretical subject. This is a practical subject. Priyank, I don't have access to this drive. Acha, you are uploading your Good. But have you followed everything, Priyank, whatever I have written? Great, great. This is what is expected from everyone. All right. Do you have any questions for me? I can unmute you. Let me know if you want to change my way of teaching. If you want slides, I don't mind taking slides. The slides is already provided to you, I think. If not, the NMIMS team will do. But yeah, so according and provide your feedback, and then I'll be able to. I'll be more than happy to implement it. Priyank, yeah, I've allowed you to talk.
Hi, Professor. Good afternoon. Priyank.
Good afternoon.
Professor, I want to understand whether it is in today's course or next, I don't know. Like we entered the value numbers, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, and based on that, it was recalling something negative, positive, or 0.
Right.
So can I use the same thing like somebody entered the name? Let's suppose I entered multiple name in backend. I entered Priyank and it says male, or Priyank, how much it has, what is his income? Can we recall such kind of things?
Yeah, if you store the value maybe in the dictionary, if you store the value in the dictionary, you can do that.
Okay, so first we have to make that dictionary, what you told.
Yeah, you'll have to store the value somewhere, right? The computer will itself not understand, okay, who is Priyank. You'll have to store Priyank's entire information. What is his salary, what is his gender, where he works, everything. You'll have to store it somewhere, right? Then only it will be able to show it to you on the console.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Samvit. Priyank, you can go on mute.
No, just I wanted to know about that project thing, but yeah, because next week it is very less probability that many of us will join the call because we
Why?
have because we have exam on that day.
Arey yaar. Okay, let me see what I can do. Maybe if you can join for at least half an hour, maybe. What time is your exam?
It is in evening, but yeah, 2 exams continuously we have, so it will be difficult Saturday and Sunday.
Maybe if you can join for half an hour, or maybe like from 12:30 to 1. I think we have the next session on 6th, right? 6th, same time.
Yeah,
I believe.
6th, yes.
Yeah,
Sunday,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so if you can spare half an hour, maybe I can talk about.
Yeah, that will be better. Means 12:30, or if anyone wants to join, then.
And I think this sessions are getting recorded, right? So
Yeah, it's getting recorded. Yeah.
but if no one joins, I won't be able to take the session.
No. People will join, but yeah.
But
It will
Python,
be
see,
less.
I'll tell you what, Python is very important. Why? Because in the next cohort, I think you will have Python for business analytics. So things get very difficult. I mean, get very advanced in the next Python sessions. When I say next Python session, not basics of Python. In the next, I think semester, you have Python for business analytics. So yeah, term 2. In second term, you have Python for business analytics. Things get very difficult there if your basics are not good. Okay, so don't take Python just because you don't have any exams related to Python. Don't treat Python as, okay, this is an optional subject or anything. Getting it?
Yeah.
If your basics are not strong, let me warn you again, you won't be able to understand Python for business analytics well. Okay, so it's up to you, your decision. I'm just telling you what the future would look like What are the possibilities? Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next session. Okay. Thank you everyone. Thanks, Anas. You all can leave. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Thanks Himanshi, Samrit, Manch. Thank you.